For American farmers in this new trade war, it's now a question of how other countries will respond to President Trump's tariffs and the anticipated financial pain of those looming decisions.
The second Trump administration, and this week tariffs are back in focus on Sunday.
Somewhere in America, fields are burning, not from drought or wildfire, but by desperate landowners torching what's left of their hopes. Many are calling it the Great American Farmer Exodus. In just 1 year, over 50,000 farms have been abandoned or sold, crushed by tariffs, soaring costs, and new competition. Meanwhile, north of the border, Canada's farms are booming. Land prices are up, subsidies are flowing, and people are flocking to the fields. So why are American farmers leaving their land while Canada thrives? Let's look at 5 states where agriculture is falling apart, starting with Texas. Texas fields on fire. Texas, once America's biggest agricultural powerhouse, is burning its own crops. In the summer of 2025, many farmers gave up waiting for rain. They're burning wheat still standing because there's no one to harvest it, no buyers, and nowhere to store it. Over 11,000 Texas farms have shut down or shifted to other uses in less than a year. Skyrocketing fertilizer, fuel, and water costs are only part of the story. Severe labor shortages and policy gaps make it worse. About 40% of farm labor in Texas comes from undocumented immigrants. Since 2020, tighter inspections have left some farms without workers overnight. Many dairy farms can't even keep up with basic milking. Legal labor through the H-2A visa now costs over $20,000 per season, far too much for small farms. Many have no choice but to quit. When farms close, outsiders, including Canadian firms, buy the land for warehouses or logistics hubs. Drought has pushed weak regions to ruin, and a water rights clash with Mexico dried up the Rio Grande. Mexico hit back by cutting imports from Texas and buying from Canada instead. Even rain hasn't helped. In East Texas, heavy downpours drowned seedlings and delayed planting. In farming, lost time is lost money, and it shows. By mid-2025, Texas farm losses topped $2.7 billion. Meanwhile, Canada signed over $1.2 billion in new export deals, taking markets once supplied by the U.S. Canada is moving fast to grab this opening. Saskatchewan, for example, is attracting American farmers with settlement programs, better support, and reliable workers. Applications from Texas and California soared this spring. The collapse of farms hits communities hard. Property tax revenue dries up, cutting school and hospital budgets. Some towns have shortened school terms and delayed health services. Older residents who hoped their kids would stay on the land now see a grim future. No farms, no schools, no clinics. The next generation isn't waiting around. Many young Texans are trading farm life for factory or service jobs. Farming has become a burden, not a dream. They don't hate the land, they just can't make it pay. While Texas pulls back, Canada is expanding fields, exports, and partnerships once loyal to American growers. If Texas, the nation's top farm state, is retreating, what happens next? If no one wants to farm, who will feed America? Number 2, Nebraska. Once a key player on the global wheat map, Nebraska was long a pillar of America's grain trade. Wheat from here fed Europe and Asia, shipped through both coasts. But by mid-2025, the fields have fallen silent, not from disaster, but because farmers have simply walked away. This retreat gained speed after a recent NATO summit where Spain was criticized for low defense spending. The fallout made European grain traders nervous, pushing some to cancel U.S. contracts in favor of Canadian suppliers with steadier prices and less geopolitical risk. It hit Nebraska hard. Wheat hovered near $5 a bushel, too low to break even. Many sold at a loss or stored crops, hoping for a rebound that never came. Local banks, following the Federal Reserve's Kansas City branch, now limit loans to farms with clear export deals that are disappearing fast. Then came tar spot, a fungus hammering corn and soybeans, which, while not a wheat problem, disrupted rotations and spiked costs. With low prices, tight credit, and rising expenses, farming became unsustainable. Quietly, many simply stopped, No new loans, no harvester repairs, no seeds ordered for next season. Meanwhile, Canada's wheat belt is booming. In early 2025 alone, Canada shipped over 6.6 million tons, up 20% year over year, taking contracts once held by U.S. growers. Ports like Vancouver have expanded. Rail lines prioritize grain, and co-ops get subsidies to keep prices stable. The market didn't vanish. It moved north. Nebraska's decline ripples outward. As farms close, local tax revenue sinks. Schools delay hires, hospitals cut services, fire stations go part-time. The basics of rural life grow fragile. Co-op meetings shrink, farmers' markets thin out, and talk of the next season grows hesitant. Worse still, even American factories now blend Canadian wheat for stable pricing and reliable supply. For Nebraska farmers, the hardest part isn't failed crops, it's watching the world move on. Other countries are signing new contracts, building ports, and locking in buyers while Nebraska stands still. As Nebraska hesitates, market share keeps slipping away, quietly, steadily. Kansas is now seeing its own first drop after years of steady yields. North Dakota struggles with Chinese access. Iowa's soybean surplus teeters on collapse. Nebraska's story is now a warning. When America's farm belt slows down, the world doesn't wait. If you've watched America change over the years, this shift hits hard. Farmers here long believed the U.S. was where you came to build dreams. Now they watch workers leave just to survive, and the feeling isn't just loss, it's a reversal. Older Americans once saw new immigrants filling Arizona's fields and towns. They were skeptical at first, but grew to accept it. Now, as those same people pack up and take their skills elsewhere, what's left isn't just empty land, but a hole in the heart of the community. And this isn't just Arizona, it's California, Iowa, Texas, Nebraska. Pieces of America's farm belt cracking apart. California exodus. Just a year ago, no one thought Canada, with its long winters and short growing season, would ever rival California's fertile valleys. But by summer 2025, provinces like British Columbia and Saskatchewan are exporting more fruit than ever to the U.S., once California's domain. BC's cherry and apple yields are up over 30% from 2024. Saskatchewan now runs greenhouses year-round, helped by subsidies, cheap power, and stable crop insurance. Meanwhile, California's Central Valley, once producing nearly a quarter of America's fresh fruit, is stuck with skyrocketing costs and impossible rules. Power bills for pumping water have jumped 150% since 2023. Many farms can't afford to irrigate. New laws block new wells, restrict emissions, and squeeze farms near towns with noise and dust limits. Taxes keep rising even as profits vanish. By June 2025, nearly half of Central Valley's mid-sized fruit farms are losing money. Some turn to orchard tours and fruit picking, but that barely keeps them afloat. Cheap Mexican avocados and imported fruit undercut local growers. Peaches once shipped to Asia now rot on trees because they cost too much to pick. Even loyal Californians buy cheaper Chilean kiwis and New Zealand apples. Fewer young people want to farm, not out of disrespect, but because it no longer pays. Canada, meanwhile, welcomes skilled farm workers with land, co-ops, and fair prices. For older farmers who remember better days, this slow fade is painful. They don't ask, what do we plant, but is there anyone left to plant? When fruit, once a symbol of abundance, becomes a luxury, many wonder which region will be next. Iowa exodus. If any place embodied American family farming, it was Iowa, endless cornfields and old silos under big skies. By mid-2025, that heartland is struggling. No historic drought or storms, just steady decline. Iowa once led U.S. corn exports, producing 16% of the nation's crop from 2005 to 2015. But in just 18 months, over 7,800 farms have vanished. 50,000 people have left farming, not for lack of land, but for lack of faith. It wasn't one disaster, but many blows. Early 2025 brought relentless rain, cutting field work to a few days a month. A new tar spot outbreak spread fast. Costs rose, profits didn't. Bankruptcies climbed. Fertilizers stayed expensive. Big companies squeezed prices lower. From 2024 to mid-2025, Iowa's farm sector lost an estimated $2.7 billion. The deepest damage is mental. Farming was once pride. Now it feels like a trap. Many feel alone. The CDC reports farm stress above average. Some communities fight back. Co-ops in Story County offer free mental health help and youth training. Southern counties pool land and share risk. It doesn't fix profits overnight, but keeps hope alive. In May 2025, the federal government finally offered credit relief and sustainability incentives. But for many, it came too late. Land sold, equipment auctioned, trust lost. Step into a diner outside Des Moines. Empty seats tell the story. No talk of next season, just silence. That's what farmers fear most. Not storms or pests, but being forgotten. 50,000 farmers leaving isn't just a number. It's families and fields that once fed millions. They didn't quit by choice. They chose survival over pride. As they go, Canada signs new contracts and celebrates record harvests. One country's loss is another's gain. This was just the beginning. Hit that subscribe button and buckle up. Digital Garage has so much more in store.